Good day everyone. So today, let's discuss what are the components of the motherboard. So let's define first what is the motherboard.
The motherboard is one of the most essential parts of a computer system. It holds together many of the crucial components of a computer, including the central processing unit or the CPU, memory, and connectors for input and output devices. The components of the motherboard. Let's start with the North Bridge. The North Bridge is an Intel chipset that communicates with the computer processor and controls interaction with memory. The peripheral component interconnect, or the PCI bus, level 2 cache, and all accelerated graphics port activities. Next is the CPU socket. The CPU socket is made of plastic and comes with a lever or latch, and with metal contacts for each of the pins or LEDs on the CPU. Many packages are keyed to ensure the proper insertion of the CPU. CPUs with a PGA or pin grid array package are inserted into the socket and the latch is closed. Next is the capacitors. Its function is to store the electrical energy and give this energy again to the circuit when necessary. In other words, it charges and discharges the electric charge stored in it. Besides this, the functions of the capacitors are as follows. It blocks the flow of DC and permits the flow of AC. Next is the audio ports. The audio port links the computer's sound hardware with your speakers, microphones, headsets, or other audio equipment. Every computer motherboard has at least a few basic audio ports built in, allowing you to connect stereo speakers and a microphone. Next is the universal serial bus ports. The USB port is a standard cable connection interface for personal computers and consumer electronics devices. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, an industry standard for short-distance digital data communications. USB ports allows USB devices to be connected to each other with and transfer data over USB cables. Next is the parallel port. The parallel port is a type of interface found on computer or personal and otherwise for connecting peripherals. The name refers to the way the data is sent. Parallel ports send multiple bits of data at once in parallel communication as opposed to serial interfaces that sends bits one at a time. Next is the VGA, or Video Graphics Array. It's the display hardware first introduced with the IBM PS2 line of computers in 1987, followed CGA and EGA introduced in earlier IBM personal computers. Through widespread adoption, the term has been also to mean either an analog computer display standard, the 15-pin D-sub-miniature VGA connector, or the 60 by 480 resolution characteristic of the VGA hardware. Next is the PS2. The PS2 used for connecting keyboards and mouse to a PC-compatible computer system. Next is the CMOS backup battery socket. The CMOS backup battery socket is a physical part of the motherboard. It is a memory chip that houses setting configurations and is powered by the onboard battery. Next is the DRAM memory slot. The DRAM memory slot allows the computer memory, like random access memory, to be inserted into the computer. Depending on the motherboard, there may be 2 to 4 slots, sometimes more on high-end motherboards, and are what determine the type of RAM used with the computer. Next, the ATX power connector. An ATX style connector is a replacement for the older P8 and P980 style connector. It is one of the largest connectors inside a computer. It connects the power supply to an ATX style motherboard. Next, the PCI slot, or the Peripheral Component Interconnect slot, is a connecting apparatus for a 32-bit computer bus. These tools are built into the motherboard of computers and devices in order to allow for the addition of PCI devices like modems, network hardware, or sound and video cards.
A missile, bomb, bomb. Every time I show up, blow up, make 'em whistle like a missile.